We got another comedian coming up. She's awesome. I haven't seen her on the mic in a bit. She's going to give us some magic. Please help me welcome to the mic the always charismatic Caroline Bro!
Keep it going for your host, the always charming Chuck. How you guys doing tonight? Good.
Smaller than fucking Florida,
Yeah.
so it's like,
you know, please give me some love because before I came out here, I did shave my big toe and I put some crap around my eyes to make them look bigger. I went to a lot of trouble. Thank you. I recently discovered that a Dollar Tree store sounds like idolatry. I think I'm probably the first person on the planet to figure that out. So now every time I see a Dollar Tree store, you can't help it. You just think of idolatry. I kind of look like one of those moms that eats their kids' Ritalin. I didn't though, but I did eat my dog's anxiety medication one time. I was feeling a little anxious. I went to the cabinet. It said take one pill for every 5 to 10 pounds of body weight. I ended up taking the whole jar. Then I peed the bed. And I hit myself with a rolled up newspaper. I wanted to get one of those Brazilian bikini waxes. I don't know if anyone's ever done that.
Yeah.
Yes?
Oh yeah.
It hurts, right?
Yes, it does.
Like a fucker.
Yes.
Yeah. I went there and I said, how much is it? And they said, well, first time you get half off. Which half? They said, no, it's just half off. I said, well, can I get the whole thing off? No, we don't do that here. So in the end, all I could afford, instead of a Brazilian, I got a Mexican. Like a bald Sanchez. Or a hairy Geraldo. Or a fuzzy fish taco. Or Mexican street porn. I recently turned 50. Thank you.
boomer!
I had to get one of those colonoscopies. This will happen to some of you later on, unless they come up with something better than stuffing garden hose with a camera up your ass. I want to know why in 2020 they can put a fucking man on the moon, but they cannot figure out how to look at your colon through a thin layer of poo. You have to clean your whole thing out, because they can't see your colon through poo. Well, I waited like 6 or 7 years actually after I was supposed to get it. Do the math. Because I'm cheap. I wanted to get a Groupon and get half off my colonoscopy. I did find a Groupon. It made me wonder about my ancestry. So I did that Ancestry DNA. It turns out I'm 92% Eastern European Jew. Hence the Groupon. I'm also 8% Asian, thus proving Jews really do like to eat a little Chinese every now and then. Maybe a lot of Chinese. I went to the colonoscopy place and they said, yeah, we can do it for you. We'll do it on February 14th. I said, oh, hell no. Not Valentine's Day. I have a big date that day. True story. She said to me, it's perfect. You'll be squeaky clean for your date. I didn't have the heart to tell her it was a court date. I had to show up because I'd been buying dog anxiety medication on the black market. I had a boyfriend in college when I was 21, and I wanted him to go south of the border. But when you're 21, you don't know how to verbalize things very well. And I was a late bloomer, what a shock. And I just kind of went like that, and he didn't get it. And so I said, okay, well, I want you to I want you to eat my Whisker biscuit, yodel in my canyon, munch my carpet, Old King Clancy, taste the rainbow, tell the kitty a secret. I want you to have some Portuguese breakfast. I want Oklahoma City pie. I want Kansas City cupcake. I said, listen, just pick one and do it, okay? I don't give a shit which one, just do it. He picked one, and he was doing it. And I made the most fatal mistake of my entire life in that moment. I looked down. And at that moment, he looked up and waved. And my brain split in half. I had a complete schism with reality. My vagina snapped up like a Venus flytrap. And I was diagnosed with PTSD. Pussy traumatic stress disorder. When I was in college, I majored in 19th century Russian literature. Seemed like a good idea at the time. I chose a double minor in glass blowing and basket weaving. But in the 1980s, because I hail from the 1980s, gather round the MTV kiddies, I'll teach you all about the Space Invaders and the Cola Wars. We didn't have any kind of spell check. So when I wrote the resume, I sent it out. I was living in the New York area. I was confident that I was going to find a great job with 19th century Russian literature and glass blowing and basket weaving. I made 500,000 copies, and I just threw them all over Fifth Avenue. Years later, I did look back at the resume, and it said 19th century Russian literature with a double minor in ass blowing and bastard leaving, which 35 years later is still pretty much the truth. I wanted to start dating shortly after that, so I went onto that dating site for fat people, plentyofwhales.com. Turns out actually it's just a whale watching site. But I didn't care, I was committed. I stalked all their profiles, I lurked them, I sexted them. And then I ghosted the fat bastards. Yesterday was February the 29th, my wedding anniversary. My husband wanted to get married on February the 29th, so he would only have to remember our anniversary once every 4 years. So yesterday we were married 32 years and 8 years. Both simultaneously. And I'm one of those people that keeps track of the first year as paper, second year as paper clips, third year, I don't know, and you go up to silver and gold and diamond. So yesterday, by all accounts, I did receive salty pearls. I'm wearing them now. I'm going to say something now that's going to make me relatively unpopular, but I'm going to say it anyway. I believe that anyone who was born before the year 1990 probably doesn't appreciate Kava Kava. I tried Kava Kava, and I'm gonna hava a fucking stroke. Because Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. And let's throw in a few wise men and a couple of donkeys, because that fuck shit tastes like ass. But perhaps I'm just too old. True story, last week I had a contractor who was going to do some work on my roof. And when we initially hired this gentleman, he was rather excited because we did get about 5 or 6 people in the neighborhood to go together as a group and get our roofs done, so he kind of lowered the price. But every time he stopped by, he kept bringing these individual pieces of Yoder's pie. And if you're not from Sarasota, you don't know what Yoder's pie is, but it's the fucking crack of all pie. It's the best pie in the world. And it's Yoder's, and you can look it up, and it's fucking amazing. He kept bringing us little individual slices of Yoder's pies, and we were very excited. And then the third time he came, he brought more pie. And the fourth time he came, he brought more pie. We had so much pie, we kept inviting people over to eat the pie. And while I had about 35 people in my house, he showed up again with more pie. So I thought that it was a decent question to ask him why he had all this Yoder's pie. And I figured he'd say, well, I'm related to Yoder's or something like that. And what he said was the most disturbing thing I've ever heard. He said, well, I'm a Christian man. That's not disturbing. Although as an atheist, it was rather disturbing. He said, I have a mission in my church, and we help the homeless. And I have an agreement with Yoder's Pie, whereby they supply pie for the homeless. And what you have here is the leftovers. So I said, let me get this straight. So what you're saying is, what these people in my home are now only eating is homeless reject pie. This is the pie the homeless rejected. Well, let me restate it again one more time so I get it. The homeless, the people who have nothing. Zero, no home, no food, no clothes, no drink, nothing. They live on the streets. This is the pie they didn't eat. Yes, that's right. This is the homeless reject pie. This is the pie that 8 minutes earlier would have been in the trash. Yes.
Yes.
So people are spitting out pie on the floor, and I don't know. I hope the roof is better than the pie. It's not a homeless reject roof. But anyway, oh, you guys are great. You're awesome. I am celebrating 17 years this year. Thank you. Cancer-free. Breast cancer. Without nipples, I can't tell how cold it is outside. I went on an Alaskan cruise, I damn nearly froze to death. Breast without nipples, well, that's just pointless. Apparently I have the kind of fat that even cancer won't scare off. I am a Jenny Craig dropout, fridge magnet, salad dodger, missionary impossible. Considering changing my pronoun to skinny legend. And I'll be trans slender. Oh, you guys have been great. Thank you so much.